Live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
I thought I was just gonna get lunch, get to take you out for lunch, but this is a nice. Are you still available?
Sure.
Okay, great. Do you want to eat here? I know you guys have a restaurant, or do you want to go out to the place and stuff?
Either way, let me turn this mic. Oh, you know what? Just hit this button right here. So this studio.
We actually have a Bill of Rights of sorts as it relates to the ability for an individual to volunteer, as many parents are in their school, to observe a classroom, to review the curriculum once it's already established, not just in preparation of it being established as it was in Temecula. 1,300 families over a year were engaged in the development of that curriculum. That's parental engagement by definition, 98.8%. Forgive me for being precise, but I think one has to be precise. 99%. supported, or we're simply agnostic. That's parental guilt. I don't know what they're referring to. And I think one has a responsibility to do it. What specifically are you referring to? Is it the notion that if you reference someone being gay, that somehow that's sexualizing our kids? Is that the case with straight people as well? I mean, if you're straight, is that sexualizing? I mean, it's rather perverse that I offer that as a rhetorical question, because you go, of course not. So by definition, I don't know what it is they're asserting. It's Orwellian, doublespeak. Or it's just so profoundly ignorant that they've been ginned up by outside agitators, which I think perhaps is a combination of this. And I'm deeply empathetic, because I watch some of these poor parents and they've been so misled by these organized groups.
Phillies would use facial recognition or Major League Baseball. But there will come can become something a little bit, nobody pays attention to it until we get more of it. Coming up, we got a lot more to talk about with Hawaii. By my count, at least 3 major people there have been ousted or demoted, including, and I was trying to explain this to Roe this morning on the way over here, one guy more concerned about water equity than putting out the fires. That's the guy that's been moved around in Hawaii.
Man.
But it's climate. It's climate. That's what it is.
What a guy.
Not an idiot who didn't want to hit the sounder. Not a bigger idiot who was talking about water equity while all this was going on. And a third who was maybe the most incompetent of all. President Biden goes there on Monday. Will he try to declare a national climate emergency? And if he did, what would that mean for all of us? I'll explain all of it, but you can get in right now at 855-839-1210. Hey, for all seafood lovers who still haven't tried Captain Chucky's crab cakes, what are you waiting for? Captain Chucky's and Vera Pasta Company have created 2 brand new ravioli varieties. Pick up the new bangin' crab and the lobster ravioli, now available, Chucky's new blush sauce. Get your orders in for all of your Captain Chucky's items right now. Several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. Literally a crab cake for everybody, as well as dessert, soup, sides, appetizers, and of course, my personal favorite. That's the Dom roll. Their Gulf shrimp is a huge hit. It's always wild caught. It's never farm raised for all summer gatherings. Call Captain Chucky's. They have you covered. There are now 18 Captain Chucky's, soon to be 20. Say hello to Terry and Al Moser in Colmar, John and Cindy Clark in Huntington Valley, Tony and Jamie Parson in Cinnamenson. In Runnymede, see the Vogelsang family. In Flowertown, the Smaraglia family. In Ocean City, you'll see Chris and Donna Ryan. In Seattle, the McCann family. In Avalon, the Vasilotti family. Shore locations are open daily from 11 a.m. And congrats to Sam Cancelleri and Irish Mike McGarry as they prepare to open their new Chucky's store in Medford, New Jersey. Coming soon to Northeast Philadelphia, there'll be a store in Holmes Circle. Congrats to the Graziani family. Remember, welovecrabcakes.com. And if you're headed to the shore, check out Captain Chucky's at theshore.com. afternoon, everyone. Good Friday. Last fling here at Mulligan's, 310 West Hildreth. All kinds of folks stopping by, even coming directly from Philadelphia to here. Some that you hear will get on the air a little bit later on. But talking about facial recognition, I played you Gavin Newsom. I have a little bit more on Hawaii. Bruce Castor at 2 o'clock is don't miss. He represented President Trump in the second impeachment. And we have Ron DeSantis kind of melting before our eyes. Vivek Ramaswamy in his head, this leaked memo in which they tell him he has to demolish Ramaswamy in this next debate, defend Trump, act joyful or act human or act happy. DeSantis is going to look kind of confused with this memo. I'll give you more details on that. It's not a good look for a guy who was a juggernaut just about 6 to 8 months ago. All right, let's go to Marty, though. Marty is in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Marty. Hi, Marty.
Why is it not working?
All right.
Jim, can you bring up Marty, please?
Bring up Marty, please. Hey, Marty, good afternoon. Hi.
What is going on here?
All right. Is Marty there, Jim?
Yeah, it looks like we're having phone
All
issues,
right.
right?
All right.
We'll get that fixed, then.
All right. So the deputy director of the Hawaiian Water Commission, who may have delayed access to more water resources during Maui, previously, and during this, it appears to be too, it was a concern, worried about water equity. Hawaii's Department of Land and Natural Resources has been reassigned. According to his bio, he has one main professional responsibility, administering the state water code adopted in 1987. As such, when the devastating fires broke out, the West Maui Land Company, which oversees the 3 main water purveyors, reportedly contacted him and others to authorize diverting more water resources to help firefighters control the blaze. The West Maui Land claimed it reached out to him at around 1 p.m. on August 9th to request approval to divert more water from the stream so the company could store as much as possible for fire control. The company claimed it already made that request to the farmer, but had never received a response. In any case, during an emergency or one that's anticipated, a temporary reduction, not elimination of water to one's individual farm, should not be prioritized over and delay efforts to save an entire community. Now, this guy crawls with what I think a progressive state like Hawaii is all about, so they've demoted him or moved him on. In addition to that, the Hawaiian Electric Company is accused of focusing on meeting Democrats' renewable energy mandate rather than addressing known wildfire risks. Yet when President Biden goes there, finally on Monday, after he refuses to talk about it, there is no sense that Biden is going to address any of that as much as he's going to address climate. That will be the issue. That will be the sole issue. This is Cut 6, Jim. Here's what President Biden talked about yesterday. And when you hear him talk about never bet against America, what he means is he's essentially saying, name one thing, just one. We only have 3 hours today here from Mulligan's that Joe Biden has screwed up or has not worked effectively. The border would be number one to me. The ability to put a sentence together might be number 2. Using a better pseudonym than that Robert L. Peters might be number 3. Here's President Biden, and when he's talking about America here, he means his presidency. Here's Biden.
Let me tell you. They're telling us America's failing. They're dead wrong. They're dead wrong. America isn't failing. America's winning. And I've said 1,000 times. I've said 1,000 times. 1,000 times. There is no quit in America. Name me a single objective we've ever set out to accomplish that we've failed on. Name me one in all of our history. Not one. It's never been a good bet to bet against America, and it's still not a good bet today.
All right, so this is very similar to how progressives suddenly like the cops when the cops are the FBI, when the cops are the Capitol Police, but they hate the average cop in, I don't know, a place like Philadelphia. It's the same thing. Don't bet against America when they run America down every day. What they mean is their progressive schemes, their taxes, their plans. We just had the 1-year anniversary of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. That's what he means. Don't bet against me. I'm America here. If I say it and I'm the American president and I'm a progressive, you're betting against America. No, you're the person and your party that runs, to quote the great one, Mark Levin, the Democratic Party has always hated America. That's absolutely true, and that's what we're seeing here. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. We're going to be joined in a couple minutes by Mark Houck. Mark Houck is running against Brian Fitzpatrick. He called during the week, I think it was Monday, when I was on, and I was mentioning some of the coverage that was worldwide around this whole issue of the questions I asked him about abortion. Now, President Trump, there's a big piece on him in the Washington Examiner. And in there, Trump talks about the fact that due to his Supreme Court, pro-lifers now have negotiating power. Now, I know some people may not like that way of putting it. In other words, they can get a great deal on the issue of abortion. But I think Trump has the right angle, the right way to go with this. He actually talks about finding the spot where Americans would agree, at least substantial number of Americans would agree. That's what we're looking for, not the national pro-life groups, not that Susan B. Anthony group. They want to ban abortions. They want to do it. No exceptions, no time, anything. That's what they want to do. Well, that is going to be a massive failure for the Republican Party. We all know it. And since I've been talking about this, I've had little or no pushback from anybody, almost never. Now, Mark Houck is an honorable guy. I think would be a great candidate in a lot of ways. But when he was with me before, the day that he announced that he was taking on Brian Fitzpatrick, he brought up, we asked him about the exceptions. Trump said all 3 exceptions, so always be that. That's the right way to go. Houck seems to say something about mothers. I'll ask him about it again. Brian Fitzpatrick is asked to come in studio to talk about this. And Houck, I think, wants to debate him, which is a natural thing. We'll see if that can be arranged. So there's a lot to like about Mark Houck, but the issue of abortion is not going to work here politically in a place like Bucks County. All right, side question today. Hit us with that all-time favorite bar, real or fictional. I left one off. That's a pretty good one. Think outside the box a little bit and hit us with that. Mark Houck is next. 855-839-1210. You get in. Well, the baseball season is heading into the backstretch. Get in on the action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Now, that's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/Dom. And I really like the FanDuel app. Don't miss your chance to get that no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/Dom. Now, FanDuel is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel is the official partner of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. You have to be 21 plus. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jim, play a PSA or something, please, for a second. I would appreciate that.
All right, it is Dom time. Really nice house here at Mulligan's, 310 West Hildreth. Come on out and be part of it. We have that waitress that came in from retirement. You don't get that. I have to put that on my resume for the show. Joining us here on Talk Radio 1210, he made international news with the first interview we did with him. And he called this week and asked to be back because of all that was going on. Mark Houck joins us here on Talk Radio 1210. All right, let's try. Mark, it's the there we go.
No, it's not going to work.
All right. Okay. We'll put Mark there in purgatory, so to speak, for a moment. Mark, it's a reference you and I would understand here. And those here at Mulligan's, this sometimes happen. The technology is finicky. At least we have power this time. I think maybe a colloquium with Tommy McDonald over there. He will solve it somehow or another and make magic happen here. We'll talk with Mark Houck in a moment. Side question today, too, don't forget, is hit us with that all-time favorite bar. That's what we're looking for. Now,
try it now, Dom.
All right, there's Mark
Jim,
Houck.
see if we can bring Mark up now.
Mark, you're being released from purgatory, so to speak.
Nope, never mind. There it goes. Okay, not going to work, Dom.
All right.
We're trying to get that figured out behind the scenes.
All right. So the director of public safety out in Ben Salem, a guy who, along with Pat Malloy, we often talk about, would be a great police chief in Philadelphia versus the nonsense that goes on, has another piece up at realclearpolitics.com. Ben Salem. Once this guy got published, he's all over the place. And it's about the driver equity laws. Now, all the people here at Mulligan's, I've looked out in the parking lot, are actually driving with license plates. I assume they have insurance. I assume there are not bumpers and no headlights and things like that going on. Otherwise, they would be stopped, even here in New Jersey. In Philadelphia, not. So William McVeigh, the head of security, the head of the police in Ben Salem, writes about the fact there was a pretty infamous murder that happened out in Ben Salem. This was only a few days after driving equity went into play. Yet, due to great police work by Ben Salem and the Philadelphia police, they were able to capture the murderer within 24 hours of the murder. 35th District police pulled him over prior to his trial. All right, I'll get to McVeigh here in a moment. I think we have Mark Houck now. Let's try Mark. Hey, Mark, welcome to the show. Welcome to Mulligan's. I assume that you would. Mark, have you ever put a guesstimate? Now, you've done great work. I mean, I don't follow you around all day long, but you're a proud father of 7. We've seen all the great work, and you've done great work for Americans, and you've done great work on the life issue. So if you're spending more than 5 minutes in purgatory, I'm thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to have to do a 3-hour show from purgatory every day. Come on now. You know what? That's what I've always looked like. Limbo, I'm not so sure, though. You know, that was always in the catechism difficult. So, Mark, you called Henry, he was filling in for Dan, and wanted to come on. You and I had a great interview, and you know how much I respect what you've done, etc. By the way, a Joe Biden lookalike has just come in here. You'll see that in a moment. We'll have him on YouTube. It's wild here at Mulligan's. Mark, what is it you wanted to come on and talk about? Oh, okay. Now, let me go back to what you said. And with all due respect, Dave White, who is a very pro-life guy, father of an autistic son, running for governor, he said much the same thing that you said, Mark. So let me push back on that a little bit to help the campaign. And I think I get what you're trying to pitch here. They've already attacked Fitzpatrick on the pro-life issue just because Mark Houck is in the race. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't know that you sense, you're a savvy guy and you've been through a lot, how savage the media is. The mere whiff of this. I mean, I think I know now a little bit better exactly what to try to talk about, but I'm for the 3 exceptions, even though philosophically, I understand your position on rape and incest. The child didn't do it. I'm talking about as a matter, though, of trying to arrive at where we can get Americans and move them forward. So, Mark, I think that's a very logical position you've taken, but I think it would fail. All right. Well, look, as I said before, you're no Doug Mastriano, and I mean that as a compliment. And I get what you're trying to do. I just, respectfully, honestly, I don't see that playing out in Bucks County, probably sadly, to the point that you're making, but in the real politic of it. I wanted to ask you about a couple of other areas. Now, there's news out there, and I don't mind if he encouraged you to run, because I think it's a great thing that you're running. And I think so do listeners, even if they don't end up supporting you and make the choice for Fitzpatrick in their mind to win. But Scott Perry, who often comes on the show, we like him a lot. He is very detailed, very much a force, aside just from January 6th, but on all issues. There's stories here locally that he encouraged you or kind of opened your eyes to running. What's the story on that?
Go to the State of the Union. And that's where I met, Congressman Perry. And my wife and I spent time with him. When I was thinking about it, Scott didn't put it on my heart to run. I reached out to Scott and say, hey, tell me what life is like as a congressman. Can you share that with me? And how would this affect my family? I have 7 children, as you said, and he was honest with me. And he said, Mark, I think you need to take it to prayer. And his campaign said as such. So, I hope I didn't get him in trouble, but, the reality is that Scott was just talking to me to encourage me to think about it and to think about the republic and what's needed with a republic that's falling apart. And that's all he really did. He didn't say, hey, you got to take out Fitzpatrick or you need to take him out. That was not at all the case. So I want to set the record straight on that. He said, hey, take it to prayer. And I haven't talked to Scott since June. So he's not advising me in any way.
I'm very glad you clarified that. Parting area for President Trump is gargantuan, of course, Republican Party nationally. These 4 indictments, ridiculous. Give me your sense of support or non-support, or where you are with President Trump.
Well, I hope to see him next Tuesday, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Look, I support President Trump, and I hope he supports me. We're kindred spirits in this way, both being indicted. He's been indicted more than I've been indicted. But nonetheless, I can understand, what the man's going through. And what? It's so much of it is unjust suffering. And so, I'm right there with him in those trenches. And if I have the opportunity to meet him, I will tell him as such. And so he has my full support. And I hope we get his as well.
You're trying for his endorsement then, Mark?
I hope so. That would be great. I'd love it. We'd welcome that.
All right, Mark, again, I am fascinated by this campaign and your message from what you've been through, what you've learned. So I hope you realize that. And I'm sorry if we made news even in the Indian papers by the interview with you. It was pretty nuts. I didn't even know some of them existed. Where do we find all things Mark Houck about your campaign?
Well, thanks again, Dom. It's great to join you. I wish I could be in Wildwood with you. Everyone can go to houckforcongress.com. We will be updating those pages, and it'll be an opportunity for people to volunteer if they want to or support us. But Houck, HOUCKFOR, Congress.com.
Mark, thank you. Have a nice weekend. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dom. God bless.
All right, Mark Houck here on Talk Radio 1210. We're at Mulligan's 310 West Hildreth. Great spot. A lot of folks stopping by. Pop by if you're anywhere in the area. And again, we want to keep all these waitresses working full capacity coming out of retirement today. Coming up, though, Joe Biden, or maybe it's Robert L. Peters, is in the house here. You'll see him on YouTube. Dan, where do people go if they haven't followed on YouTube?
Yeah,
so far?
it's youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Every day we are dining with Dom from noon until 1, and got a little conversation going on over there with this Mark Houck, Dom, and contribute. Come over. If you've never seen it, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please like and subscribe.
And check out the Mulligan shirt. I told him it wasn't green enough. It has to be even greener. This is beyond green. I'm charting Roe walking here 2 miles. She's a slow walker, but
you're making your wife walk 2 miles?
That's right, but an incessant walker. She could walk 10 miles.
Wait, it should have been you that walked here today.
You know what? That could have been, and let her. She didn't want to
leave at 9:30, walk from North Wildwood.
Oh, I would be here in 20 minutes.
These are the kind of days that this is why you need the golf cart, Dom.
Yeah, that's right.
If you had the golf cart, you could take that.
There should be one at our disposal in the parking lot here of Johnny's Mulligan's Bar. I think he has one. All right, 855-839-1210. You'll get on board right now. Give me your reaction to Mark Houck. A lot of good stuff there, but the issue is also abortion. All right, Roy and his trusted advisors, Batteries Plus Bulbs. He started the first Batteries Plus Bulbs location in the tri-state area in Mount Laurel over 17 years ago. He had a vision for this, and it involved great batteries, great products, great technical knowledge, and on top of everything, unbelievable customer service. Nobody sweats that more than Roy. So if you want all that, build custom battery packs, smartphone repairs, game console repairs, ride-on toys, lamp repairs, rewiring. You want to consult with somebody who's unbelievable with all this stuff. You have one thing to do. Give them a call. They're in Mount Laurel on Route 73, and they're on Tilton Road in Northfield. 856-638-0778. 856-638-0778. All right, welcome in, everyone. I hope you're on YouTube again here at Mulligan's on West Hildreth. Dan, where do they go right now to meet Robert L. Peters?
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Don, we are joined by the famous Robert Peters. This is great.
Mr. Well, that's kind of a Nixon-like approach, Mr. Peters here. It looks like this is President Biden. He was headed to Hawaii and ended up in Wildwood Crest.
Lion Joe, Pinocchio Joe.
Yeah, I think that the Pinocchio needs to be. How long you been working on that, Mr. President?
This was my Halloween costume back in 2020.
So,
did you actually go trick or treating with that?
I absolutely did.
I have to ask
man,
you, Mr. President, when did your Pinocchio nose grow the most? In other words, which lie that you tell routinely, which mistruth, which wild story has gotten it to grow the most, would you say?
I really can't count that high, but can I sniff your hair?
There are plenty of women here that watch this guy on the way out. He's a big hair sniffer.
Yeah, you this guy behind your shoulder.
I mean, this is the most dignified guest we've ever had here at Mulligan so far this summer. We've had some pretty big
This
ones.
isn't the first president you've interviewed, though, huh?
That's right. Yeah, several, but never up close like this. This guy's almost on my knee here. I think that's why the sniffing's going on. So,
some weird caressing going on over there, Mr.
President. I'm surprised you're over here at Mulligan's. Did you make a wrong turn at Rehoboth Beach because you're on vacation again?
Well, I'm here to try to make America great again, and this was the best place to come, actually.
And you're headed to Hawaii. What are you going to be doing in Hawaii? How about a climate change emergency?
That's definitely on the table, but hopefully I can stay up.
That's right. It's 5 hours behind there. It might be. I was on. I mean, what is Dr. Jill Biden doing today?
Well, she's making me walk faster, and she keeps an eye on which door I need to go through.
How's the bike riding going?
I haven't fallen off a bike since yesterday.
Now, our next guest here, we've talked a lot, Mr. President. I know you're busy with all kinds of things. Wind turbines, killing whales, dolphins. He's going to talk about that. What's the president's position on killing all those whales?
Let me tell you a secret. There's no whales that are dying.
We have to take this on the road. I hope that came up.
I just can't take it.
Should I whisper a little louder?
The look on his face is just so stern at all times.
And Mr. President, the Inflation Reduction Act is a year old. I know Mulligan's, Johnny really tries to keep prices low as he can here, but not happening. What do you have to say about that?
Wages are up. Unfortunately, inflation has eroded almost all of that and then some. But we're doing a great job.
I think the nose just grew a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, that's true. So, Mr. President, President Trump has said he can hardly wait to meet you again for, 3, 5, 7 debates?
You know I'm not going to do a debate. That's for sure.
Well, how about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
They're not going to let him do a debate. I would mop the floor with him if I could find the door.
All right. Well, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you. I hear that.
Has he considered a cane and a top hat?
Yeah. I hear that Gary of Newtown is kind of your pseudonym. And what's up with the Robert L. Peters? Who's Robert L. Peters, Mr. President?
I have no idea. I'd have to talk to my son, Hunter.
Okay.
It's a dangerous notion at this point.
Any sense of where Hunter might be today?
I know he's probably in the White House. I just don't know where in the West Wing he would be hiding his cocaine.
Well, your nose just grew a little bit more.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank
All
you.
right, nice round for President Biden as Pinocchio here today.
Watch those headphones up there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. That was great. Thank you. Particularly the
great to meet you, sir.
Particularly the whisper. Thanks, Gary of Newtown, one of our regulars here. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. Thanks, Gary. Here at Mulligan's, it'll be interesting to see Monday what President Biden does when he heads off to Hawaii. But certainly, $700 checks. Those people in Maui are saying they won't even cover their share of the Ukraine bill. Think about that. Think about how much the average American is paying for Ukraine. And yet, when it comes to Hawaii, those people so far from President Biden have gotten $700. All right, we want to get going on the side question here, too. Simple side question today. Hit us with that all-time favorite bar. Let's maybe a little bit later. I think it's tied up there. Yeah, we'll do that.
I know he's coming over here. He's coming over here.
There's the
Sit over here, Earl.
All right, here's the Earl of
headset.
Tony with us here on Talk Radio 1210.
Earl.
Earl is a tough act to beat, Earl. We usually hear you toward the end of the show. You have brought your world-famous Caesar salad down, but I think anchovies are involved too, right?
Yes, it's from an earlier question that you had, where what's an acquired taste? And you had olives and things like that. And I mentioned the Caesar salad with the anchovies. And you said that you hadn't really had one because the modern Caesar salad is kind of like KFC chicken, where KFC originally had the 12 herbs and spices, and now it's just down to a couple that you just get generic all over the place. Caesar salad used to be a really complex recipe, and now all it is just Parmesan cheese, and it's considered a Caesar salad.
So, and Earl, you're in the roofing business we were overhearing you talking about. Is that true?
Yes.
Are you up on roofs when you're calling us around 2:30?
I have from time to time.
Wow, really?
The roof call. That's
So
all-time call.
I gotta ask
Yes.
while we have him. I mean, this is Earl, one of
Yeah.
our greatest side question callers, if you're unfamiliar
Yes.
with the show. And Earl, when you call in, do you listen to the side question, then do some research, and then gather an answer? Or do you just have this all in the back of your brain that you have these backstories for these incredible answers? How's it work for you?
It's the Asperger's. I mean,
Oh, you have Asperger's.
Self-diagnosed, but
Okay.
when you have Asperger's, you always
Well,
self-diagnose yourself, so that goes without saying. But I've just got countless trivia. I've got my library is half trivia books. So whenever you mention something, I'll get something in my head, and then I'll do research to make sure I get the facts straight.
Okay.
And then when I talk on the radio, I forget half of it and get them wrong anyway. But
I swear you could write a book on that. That's how
You
good
got the
you do it.
authoritative voice, I have to say. Even I sometimes feel like challenging and I think, he's probably got it in front of him there. He's probably right.
yeah, usually I don't call unless I actually do the research to make sure that I have all the details correct, because I don't like being told that I'm wrong or stupid.
Well, we'll have some of the Caesar salad a little bit later, Earl. But
Well,
thank you. Just what you bring to the show every day. That last cadre of callers, Bruce of the Northeast, you, of course, Joe of Exton.
Yeah.
That's the Mount Rushmore. I don't know who the fourth is.
So when you hear us say that you and Joe of Exton are among the best, do you get a competitive nature? You want to outdo Joe, or
I'd like to think that I contribute to the show by bringing up the quality of the callers.
you do?
Okay,
You do.
all right.
Yes, because I do think that some of them try to keep up with me, and then I have to keep up with them in order to keep my calls up.
There's been
We
many
like that.
times I've talked to winners that said, I heard what Earl does, and I wanted to try to emulate it to a degree. So I thank
Exactly.
you, man. You bring a lot to
Yeah.
the show. You really
No ascot, though. See, Joe of Exton's probably sitting here right now with a top hat and ascot.
Well, see, I listened to the show. I was told we had to wear Hawaiian shirts today.
There you
Thank
go. You
you.
got it.
See?
Thank you for
We
this.
got it together.
Several here. Robin got the memo.
Robin's
Rama
got it. I love
Parlton, he's got the Hawaiian shirt on. All right. Big 1 o'clock hour. Earl, later on, we'll sample some of the real Caesar salad.
Okay, and my side question.
Yes.
The Raven from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Marion Ravenwood's bar, the one that Indiana Jones burned down, where they found the amulets.
Very nice.
That's a great.
That's a great one. Put that one on so far. That's our first one
that
in.
out
That's the side question today. Only a partial outage with callers. I think we're set now. All right. Robin
hope.
Schaefer with an update. 3 whales have died, I believe, in the area just in the last week or so. And a celebrity who is very anti what's going on with the wind farms, et cetera. All that straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210.